Hey everybody, it's Ian and Nick. We're back with another Roundtable Live edition, our weekly AMA that we host every Friday. Happy to be here. Glad to see you guys. How you doing, Nick?
Doing good. Happy to be here as well. I'm loving these things. They're super fun.
Yeah, they're great. They're really. It's a good opportunity to keep everyone up to speed on all the fast moving parts of Ferrum and engage with the community. So, wanted to address a couple of housekeeping items before we dive in. We're likely going to move this to a new time starting next week, just to account for folks' time zones a little bit better. So we're looking at 12 p.m. Eastern, which I think is 4 p.m. UTC. We'll announce that, next week once we finalize that. But want to just give people the heads up there. Yeah. Otherwise, how we like to start these is give a brief overview of some of the events that had transpired during the week, maybe give a little look ahead, some things we're excited about, and then we go into the question portion, trying to keep the time to about 40 to 45 minutes. So yeah, another exciting week at Ferrum. One of the big piece of news that dropped was the completion of our staking products on Algorand, and we were the recipients of a sizable grant for having completed that sort of milestone. So that was quite exciting. The other things that the developers and the team have been working on is just improving Crucible based on the feedback from the alpha testers. So there's a variety of sort of economic improvements that we needed to make after we ran the first round, which should optimize the arbitrage opportunities and then turn the rewards. And so then the really exciting thing is that the devs are apparently just wrapping up one final thing, and I've gotten guarantees. I don't like making guarantees, but I've gotten guarantees that we are opening round three of the Crucible testing today. So if that doesn't happen, don't shoot the messenger. Go ahead and you yell at the dev team for misleading us. But no, from what I can tell, looking at Slack, the Slack messages, that there's just one final thing being worked on, and then it's gonna be pushed live. And then there'll be announcements and stuff to the alpha testers on how to join and get started with all that. So that's happening imminently. And yeah, that's pretty much from my standpoint. Some of the big things happened this week. Nick, did I miss anything or anything you want to add there?
So I definitely, think the big one, like you mentioned, was the fact that staking on Algorand went live this week, which is super cool because that's something that we've been working on for quite a while. It's actually like kind of a bigger deal than it sounds like, just because this is the first non-EVM compatible network that we've ever integrated any of our products with. So in terms of like it being a stepping stone to interoperability 2.0 and kind of like this push towards like connecting all of these non-EVM compatible networks with the world of Solidity and whatnot, like and with each other, right? Like you think about like connecting like Algorand with Solana or something like that, not just Algorand with like anything on MetaMask. Um, but that's kind of like this. It was a big step towards that for us, and we're taking a lot of these learnings from integrating um, Algorand and Casper and Pocket Network towards how we're going to be architecting mainnet. Even so a lot of these learnings that the devs are getting out of these integrations are super valuable. And on top of that, it's allowing us to scale our dev team at a much faster rate than we would otherwise be able to because these grants are super helpful. So it was a big deal for us. We're talking with a couple projects on Algorand to be able to actually utilize the staking protocols. Now, kind of the next thing is getting our sales team to just go and hit up all these different projects building on Algorand, and there's a lot of them. So that's going to be exciting too. When the first project building on the ASA standard, the AVM compatible, that's what they call AVM, and the ASA is like their ERC20 token standard, basically. When projects building over there are going to start using it, that's going to be super cool. So that was a big one. I think obviously the fact that we've made such big changes to Crucible with the tax distributor. Turns out there was actually a pretty not like a huge bug, but like a bug that was causing like a miscalculation in like the amount that was being burned and the amount that was being sent to the staking pools and the liquidity pools. And so there was just kind of a little discrepancy there that was fixed when we actually made the adjustments to the tax distributor and the router, and then also like Ian mentioned, um, catering more towards the arbitrage opportunities by removing the unminting fee and making that unminting fee 0% rather than 4%. And then what we're doing with the 4% fee is we're actually moving it to be the unstaking fee. So that's going to incentivize people to stay in the staking pool longer, but it's also going to allow people to play those arbitrage opportunities and the reverse arbitrage opportunities even more by eliminating that 4% unminting fee. Um, so that's super cool. Let's see what else was there. Um, I think we stumbled upon a really, really cool topic, which is DeFi 2.0. That's kind of been a term that's been being thrown around a lot in crypto recently. We've kind of pioneered the term interoperability 2.0, and that's kind of what we're doing with Infinity Swap and Ferrum Mainnet, really. But DeFi 2.0 is something that's been talked about before, but we haven't really talked about it. And Crucible ticks all the boxes of what DeFi 2 really is. There's certain projects like Abracadabra and Olympus DAO that have kind of started to tackle some of the inherent problems with DeFi 1, but nothing that's really ticked all the boxes. And when looking back on it, it almost looks like we deliberately tackled all of uh, the aspects of DeFi 2.0. To be honest, like it was kind of something that we stumbled upon after we created Crucible, and then like looking back and kind of um, seeing a lot of the problems that DeFi 2 was trying to solve in DeFi 1, it was like, man, like Crucible really ticks all those boxes, and it's an incredible narrative that we're able to spin out of that with DeFi 2 being such a or with Crucible being such a DeFi 2 friendly product. So that's another thing that, from a marketing standpoint, we've been really leaning into this week. Um, yeah, I would say that those are pretty much the main things from the week. Uh, yep.
Oh, and can I just jump in? Can I just jump in
Yeah,
quickly?
please do, please.
Okay, lovely. Let me just turn my camera on. Yeah. Hey guys. Something really cool. So we've literally half an hour ago we've recorded a video with Nick on what's DeFi 2.0, the problems that the DeFi 1.0 basically is facing, and how Crucible is solving all of this. So it's super exciting and honestly one of my most favorite episodes to actually be recorded. So watch out, because in the next couple of days we're going to release it. You cannot miss that one. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
I'm actually glad you brought that up, Tom, because Tom came up with a super super cool idea, and using his marketing genius, he found out all of the kind of the most standard questions that are being asked on Google about like crypto. When people are first asking questions about crypto, like what are the questions that they're asking? And so, from an SEO perspective, from a search engine optimization perspective, he really wanted to like hone in on like what like is really getting the most traffic. And so we created out of those questions, out of those like top 20, top 30 questions, we've created what's called a Ferrum. Sorry, Tom.
The Ferrum Academy?
The
Ferrum
Ferrum
Academy.
Academy, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I don't
so
know. How do we forget touching on that? Please continue, Nick. Ferrum
yeah,
Academy. Yeah.
Exactly, and the Ferrum Academy is basically getting members from the team to kind of touch on different questions from this list of standard questions that are asked about crypto, like what is blockchain, like what is a layer one, stuff that everyone here can answer, and then like getting members of the team to kind of give their take on it. So we've got Nick Hellman doing interviews, obviously Ian, myself. And so those will start coming out. And I think, obviously it's fun, but like from
No,
an
no, you
SEO,
should know me, bro. Again, nine
Oh,
credits
you
called
unmute
me.
yourself?
Whether
tentacles,
it's
yeah.
9K or so.
Oops. Trying to
Let's
mute
I
see.
him.
told him I say he has it.
Hey,
What's up, Marshall?
Tentacles, can you mute yourself, bro?
Yeah, easy man. Then I'll call you.
Let's see.
Are we able to mute him?
Yeah, I've done it.
I'm trying. Oh, there we go. I just did it. Cool. He was awesome, by the way. We did the alpha testers interview last week, and he gave some super, super solid feedback on alpha on Crucible. He's been invaluable in the and super, super involved in the whole process. So thanks, Tentacles. If you're still talking back there, you'll probably watch this. So yeah, Ferrum Academy, super super excited about it, and I think hopefully it gets the attention of some newbies coming into the space, and we can kind of gain some awareness there. But I thought it was a brilliant idea on Tom's part, just from an SEO perspective and just like a pure marketing strategy perspective.
Well, yeah. So I want to actually give a shout out to I don't know who was it in our GC, but this is a perfect example of how community, the Ferrum community, inspires us every single day to improve, and also comes up with great ideas. Oftentimes by identifying problems. So someone had messaged me or posted messages in the GC about the views or lack thereof that some of these videos that we've been recording are getting. Obviously, look, there's no silver bullet. If you look at the top content creators on YouTube or really any of these social media channels, the name of the game is consistency and just output, right? It's just putting out a ton of content all the time. And eventually you will improve over time, right? But there are little things that we can be doing in the interim to improve. And when the community member, I forget who it was, I apologize, but reached out, it's like, well, how do we get more views? I reached out to Tom. It's like, Tom, how do we get more views? And then that's how, I think, partially at least how this idea for the Ferrum Academy was born. It appeals to a wide audience. These are questions we know people want to know the answers to. We have the knowledge to provide those answers. Of course, we provide a little Ferrum twist on it as well. And hopefully, like Nick said, this is going to draw in some new eyeballs, new community members, ultimately new Ferrum holders to us through this initiative. So look out for those videos. I recorded 2 this week. I think another team member is recording a couple this weekend. Our goal is to record one every single day. They're only like 10, 15 minutes long. So just, setting aside 10, 15 minutes, talking about a basic concept within crypto. And hopefully, the fruits of that labor will begin to show themselves in the next few months. So look out for those videos. And they're coming out. First ones are coming out next week, right, Tom?
Yes, they are, and I'm super excited about that because the amount of value that this series is going to bring to the space, it's great. That's absolutely amazing. Obviously, we want to expose ourselves to the majority, the mass audience that's also just entering the crypto space. But at the end of the day, it is all about the value. It's all about providing the educational content to the public. It's about making sure that people hear about Ferrum Network, that they don't just think of us as as a basically launchpad and incubation project. But there's much more. We're constantly talking about Crucible. We're talking about the mainnet that we're going to launch as well, about the interoperability 2.0 that we are pioneering. And now also we want to educate the new people that are joining the space. We want to be there. We want them to see how engaging we are, how easy it is to interact with us. Because to be completely honest, I've been doing a lot of research on any other projects in the space as well, and we are lucky. We are lucky that we're actually part of Ferrum. All of us here, all the people on Telegram, all the community members on Discord, because there's no other project that the C-suite, the basically COO that you can see right here, right now, is taking his time every single day to respond to all the messages. That's unbelievable. People need to know about that. People need to know how inclusive Ferrum Network is. Thank you.
Nice. No, that's good, Tom. And the other thing too that these Ferrum Academy episodes, along with every other thing that we stream on, not stream that we upload to YouTube, turns into a podcast too. So Tom went out and he got us added to every major podcast channel. Apple podcast, Spotify. I can't remember all the other ones. I think there's like 10 or so. But all of the videos are now put in podcast form too. So the Ferrum Academy will also be a podcast. So that's just another testament to the things that Tom's been doing. One thing while we're on the topic of marketing that I'd like to add too is I'm not sure if everyone saw the Ferrum in the Press stuff that's been coming out, but we've been working really hard on press releases and like actually getting this outside of like our own Medium blog, and actually like getting this in the hands of like other editors and publications and things like that. So like when Algorand, when our staking went live on Algorand, like Business Insider picked it up, Yahoo Finance picked it up, like 10 other publications picked it up. And that's something, that we wouldn't have been able to tackle without Tom. He's been instrumental in setting all that up. So you can expect to see a lot more of those kinds of things with Crucible. We're going to be doing a big PR push around that. Obviously, pretty much any story that is noteworthy, we want publications to be picking it up, and we don't want to just be like putting it on our Medium, because like I remember when I first started investing in crypto, when I would decide which projects I wanted to invest in, one of the first things I would do was I would type them into Google and I would click on news. Seriously. And I would see how frequently do they have news coming out? Like how frequently are publications like Cointelegraph and Yahoo Finance and Business Insider picking up these stories, and are they interested? And that would really help determine how likely I was to invest in a project. I had a few of those different like kind of things that I would do. I'd go check, obviously who their investors were and who their partners were and things like that. But like, and so like their website and whatnot. But I would go to Google and I would click on news and see when was the last thing, when was the last news article published about this project. And if it was like 6 months ago, I'd be like, oh, they're not very active. And if you looked at Ferrum's like that news site, like under Google, when you type in Ferrum Network and click on news, up until recently, you wouldn't really see much activity there because we weren't really focusing too much on PR. And hopefully other people are taking that same approach that I was when I was investing in projects in the early days and doing that, because now you'll see Ferrum popping up a lot more. I clicked Ferrum, I typed in Ferrum Network yesterday, and clicked on news, and there was like 10 articles that were posted within the last 24 hours all about Algorand staking. So if I'm a new investor and I do that, I'm like, sick, like these guys are super active. So I think that's a super important component to marketing.
Yeah. And one last thing that and I'm just going to shut up honestly. But what I want to say first of all, I want to mention in terms of PR and the articles. Guys, if you have not followed us on CoinMarketCap, you can do it now. You can go whenever you go to CoinMarketCap and search for the FRM or FRMX token. There's going to be a chat on the right-hand side of the page. And if you click on Ferrum Network, you'll be able to follow it. It looks similar to what Twitter is. It's still in the beta testing of CoinMarketCap, but you can be the first one to actually test it out and follow us. But if you scroll down even just lower on CoinMarketCap page for FRM of FRMX, you will see all the articles as well. Everything that we post on Medium, everything that happens in the news and involves Ferrum, you'll be able to see all the articles. Same on crypto.com. We're integrated with crypto.com and CoinMarketCap, which is also great for new people that, sometimes they hear about the Ethereum token, they go on CoinMarketCap because that's usually the first, or CoinGecko, that's usually the first places that you do when you want to research a token. And you will be able to see all the articles about the integrations, about Crucible, about the staking projects, literally everything. So that's super exciting. Next thing that I just wanted to quickly talk about is the podcast. Go and follow us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all the major podcast streaming platforms. And funny story, last weekend I had a couple of friends over for a glass of wine, and I was playing music on Alexa, right? I can't say it too loud because she's going to wake up. But basically, I was playing music, and they were just taking, they were just having some fun and laughing at me. And basically, they were just playing constantly "Crypto at the Ferrum Roundtable" on Alexa instead of the music, and they're not crypto native, and they asked me, "All right, Tom. All right, like that's cool. That's fun what you do. But what's Ferrum Network, right?" And first I started to explain to them, this is all about the interoperability 2.0 now. This is this and that, and they were just like, they didn't get it. So I was like, do you know what? Imagine if you could go back in time, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and with the knowledge that you have now, invest in, let's say, stock like Tesla stocks, right, or SpaceX stocks. Imagine how powerful that would be. And I'll be like, yeah, that would be powerful. And I was like, so imagine that you are right here, right now, today, and you can invest in an FRM token. No financial advice, obviously, but that's what I said. And they were like, okay.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's awesome. That's an awesome story. By the way, speaking about the podcast, and we're about to open up for questions. Everybody here who asks a question, you'll also be on the podcast. So you can go home and tell your family you were on a podcast on Apple and Amazon and so on. But with that, why don't we, because we only have about 20 more minutes or so, why don't we open up some questions? I'm sure there's people here who may want to ask a couple things. Anybody? It doesn't have to be about Ferrum, by the way. We can talk about the market in general. Our views on the macro situation of the market. We could talk about our plans this weekend. We could talk about what everyone's doing for Mother's Day. I don't know, but you don't have to ask just Ferrum questions, mind you. So anything's fair game. So we'd love to hear from you guys.
Hey, how's it going? I got a question regarding the DeFi 2.0 you guys were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I believe Nick was talking about certain aspects that are ticking all the boxes of DeFi 2.0. Could you elaborate a little more on what those boxes are we you're talking about?
I'm actually glad you brought it up because I was hoping someone would ask that question. I didn't want to kind of like dive into it and just like spend 10 minutes talking about it if no one wanted to hear about it. So I would say the main components to really this is a really funny analogy that Taha actually brought up the other day when we were having a conversation. He goes, DeFi is kind of like that thing that when you're at a party and you're talking with a bunch of friends about like changing the world and solving all of the problems in the world, and you wake up the next day and you're like, that didn't make any sense. Like it was totally unsustainable. Like that's kind of what DeFi is in a way, because like DeFi 1.0 at least, because really like the rewards mechanisms, the ease of use, just like the accessibility to it all, it's like, and especially the sustainability, right? Like DeFi protocols in the landscape of today are just like super unsustainable because I don't know if everyone remembers DeFi Summer, but I do. I was paying for all of my bills using farming protocols. Like I was just cashing out rewards and paying my bills with Dex rewards tokens. But the problem is that everyone was doing that. So what happened to the token? If it's only being used as a rewards token, then the sell pressure is massive and everyone's just selling that token, and then the token just crashes. And if you look at the charts of DEX tokens or any rewards token, anything that was being auto compounded or just being sold to just add more liquidity or whatever, or just being sold to just cash out rewards, like these charts are ugly. They're super ugly. Like they lost like 95% of their value. So I would say, the components of DeFi 1.0, that the inherent problems of DeFi 1.0 were first and foremost sustainability, just like unsustainable rewards mechanisms, ease of use, really poor UX UIs with bad design and super not intuitive for the beginner novice, person just getting their like feet wet. And then like the scope of like what those protocols could do. Like they're very limited in terms of their ceiling, right? Like there was only one vertical that they were tackling, whereas like Crucible, which is our take on DeFi 2.0, and like I said, like it's now our take on DeFi 2.0. We were just creating it because we were solving the inherent problems within our DeFi products. So you could look at our staking as a service solutions as DeFi 1. And like, not to say that there's no value from DeFi 1.0 products. There's still a lot of people using them and they're using them, very well, but there's things that could be better. And so DeFi 1.0 or our staking as a service solutions were created out of necessity. When we launched back in 2018, we needed to figure out a way to sustain ourselves really quickly because we launched at a bull market. The market tanked and we couldn't go build mainnet like we originally had wanted to. And so what did we do? We were like, well, we need to give people a reason to hold the token. And so we created a smart contract that allowed people to lock up their Ferrum and earn APR. This was before DeFi was really even was even a word, let alone DeFi 1.0 or 2.0, right? Like we hadn't even gotten that far yet. This was 2018. So that was a product that was born out of necessity. Well, Crucible is sort of a product that was also born out of necessity because we were trying to solve some of the problems that we saw in some of the solutions that we had, right? Like how do we resolve the issues of emissions and inflationary rewards mechanisms, and how do we solve the problem of like tokens being like withdrawn all at the same time, people withdrawing their principal and their rewards all at the same time, and how do we like better that model? And like Crucible was like and it went through a lot of iterations, but I don't think we thought we were going to get to where we are now with when Crucible started. If you look back at some of the articles, we should just leave them up for relics, because like the original Crucible articles, we've talked about taking them down because we don't want like misinformation out there, but it's a really good example of like where Crucible started and like where we are now. I think it's a testament to that aspect of DeFi 1 where I said like the scope, the potential for DeFi 1 just wasn't there. With DeFi 2 products, like they can just evolve and metamorphosize, and just like keep shape shifting, and like that's what Crucible did. And I still don't even think we're scratching the surface of what Crucible can really be. I feel like these rewards mechanisms that are inherent in Crucible could actually be replicated for like play to earn gaming models. This reflection meets liquidity staking model could be used by like, we can white label this, and that really opens the floodgates of like creating this ecosystem of people using the underlying technology, which is what we're calling plasma staking, right? So like it's not just this like one dimensional single vertical like thing that we're trying to attack. Like it's very, very the sky's the limit. So yeah, ease of use, incentive mechanisms that are sustainable, and the unlimited scope of potential are the things that I think DeFi 2 is trying to solve with DeFi 1, and Crucible's our take on that. I know that was a really long rant, but I hope
that was amazing. Thank you so much. It's really well explained. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
I think you'll love Nick's infographic that's coming out next week about it as well. I saw that. It's really good. It encapsulates everything he just spoke about in a nice format. So a lot of marketing materials are coming out around this topic because there's an opportunity here, right? capture that this sort of narrative around DeFi 2.0 because we actually are very aligned with that with Crucible, even though that wasn't really our intention to begin with. Just worked out that way. But yeah, it looks like Ozman just turned on his camera. What's going on, buddy? You have a question for
How
us?
you doing, man? Yeah,
How you
not
doing?
not a question, but I wanted to say that like your team is amazing, man. You guys have been like the most amazing team I've interacted with, honestly. You answer all questions of the community. And from what I see, like from I've been in crypto for like 3 or so years. I've seen a lot, and I think that like Ferrum launched, like you have like a big dream, right? You want a game changer type stuff, unique, like doing stuff that other people aren't doing. So you're not following another model. It's not easy to do. You got to create your own road. So that takes time, right? That takes time to do. That's going to take a little bit more time. So you guys launched a few years ago, right? A couple years ago. And so like you had a lot of hype because everyone I think saw that like, yeah, this is big, and then pandemic crash happened, right? And then like, but you guys are grinders, you're building throughout the time. And this is what impresses me the most is like crypto's not regulated. There's a lot of coins out there, a lot of teams, and the majority of them give up. Like, you know what I mean? Like whenever times are tough or like things are down, they lay it down, or they walk away, like that's not what Ferrum does. Ferrum, like, you guys are grinding, man. Like the amount of partners, like I heard about Ferrum probably over a year or so ago. I remember hearing the name, but like to be honest, I didn't invest or anything. But that's it stuck in my mind for some reason, that name. And then I didn't look into it or anything. And then it was just on like a YouTube, and then but then like for some reason like I don't know. I was just I obsess over like charts and stuff, and I was looking at charts, and I came across your chart, and I was like, man, this is like breaks out. That's gonna be huge. Like, let me see like the catalyst in the situation. You know what I mean? Like, is there something that can cause this? Where's the all time high? Like, I like gauge the situation. Look at the market cap. I'm like, what? Look at this market cap because I'm hearing about the main net. You know what I mean? That's where like it's like okay, you're like kind of just priced like any other launchpad token. And for now, I loaded up and I got pre-sales. You guys got good pre-sales too, like from what I see compared. And the A locations are big too, like or a nice share compared to like some of the other ones I've seen. So that in itself is great, you know what I mean? But then like you see what's coming and you dive a little bit deeper, like because there's a lot of layers to this, right? This isn't like a simple project. This is what I like. Like I'm like a real investor here. You know what I mean? I look deep into stuff. I like seeing all them layers. I like seeing that a team isn't giving up. They're just gonna keep working whether the when that thing's going down. They're still just doing their thing. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. They're not even caring about the price. Like it's a company, right? So
Thank you.
um, I see all these things and it's just layered on layered on layer, like the Crucible staking, main nets. You're saying like comparable to like almost like a Gasoma polka dot thing where you're gonna have two main nets, the Ferrum X, Ferrum. Brilliant, man. Brilliant. This is brilliant stuff. Like anyone that sees this, like this is why I put my face on it because I believe in this, man. This is an investor. This is the real deal. I had Solana at $28. Like I've had like some good snags. I had a 90x before. I think that this will blow everything that I've ever invested in out the water, and I feel it in my gut always. And I got it like 8 cents, like and I'm goes down. I'm buying more. You know what I mean? Like I kind of wanted to go down a little bit more, so I don't mind really, like right, because I know it's coming and I know the work and all this is like to me like seeing all like you said. Someone said on here about all these articles and like the YouTubes and like stuff for people to read maybe they're not reading now because the market's going down. Like we're bear market. Bitcoin's going to go to 24K, in my opinion. 4 year cycle theory. You know what I mean? That's not my opinion. That's what the charts say. The trend's your friend to the end. So maybe like bottom out in like November, go up. I'm not saying like other like you got big things coming out. I'm not saying it takes that long Ferrum the blow. It could happen at any time. You know what I mean? It could happen tomorrow for all you know, and it could be all-time high, and then you're just drifting around until bull market comes that hit like hundreds of $1 million market cap, like closing in on like a billion, or like you got like smaller blockchains like that are like couple $1 billion market cap. This is like next level stuff. This isn't just another blockchain. This could be used across all blockchains. You know what I mean? Like, and I like that it's not just like you got.
I agree. I agree with everything you said.
Yeah,
But I will
I'm ranting here.
I will just say that we, we're not, we don't want to give financial advice on the podcast, obviously, but that's just your personal opinion on things, which is fine.
Yeah,
But I
I'm
appreciate the vote of confidence, and I appreciate you coming on and showing your face. That's awesome. It's great to meet you, by the way.
Yeah.
Please don't be a stranger. Yeah, I mean, I think you touched on a couple of really important things. One which resonated deeply with me is just I actually view it as stubbornness. We don't give up, partially because we're just so damn stubborn. I'm like, if I put my mind to something, like I'm all in. Like I'm not giving up ever. And my co-founder's the same way. And everybody who's come on the team has adopted that mentality. And I think probably even had that mentality before, but now it's even stronger within them. To the point where we see the price go down, like we work harder. We're like this is a travesty. Like work harder, and that's why you see the devs now. They just did a sprint that culminated in a night where they had to stay up almost all night doing these Crucible fixes. And this was just last night. I mean, I could point to last month where the same thing happened, where they were pulling all-nighters multiple nights in a row to get out the first version of Crucible. But that's just one example of, I call it stubbornness. So and I've always been stubborn like that. My son's the same way, so maybe it runs in the family. But we're not giving up at all. And I think the future is extremely bright. No one knows what's going to happen with the market, right? We are obviously in a bear market right now. Nobody's denying that. I hope that we, bounce out sooner rather than later. But that doesn't really impact us. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's upsetting to see portfolio going down. Our portfolio, it does make things harder, no doubt about it. But it only sort of adds fuel to our fire when we see the price, what it is. Because, we know how hard we're working. And we know the value that we have brought to the industry, can bring to the industry. We're still relatively unknown, though. You know what I mean? And there's guys like you who do their research and deep dive and see the layers, and they get it, and they're like, wow, this is an incredible opportunity. There's a lot of people who may not have the time, the expertise, the knowledge. They don't have the ability to do what they're not here on join the team on a podcast, for example, for having done a whole bunch of research, reaching out to the founder and all this. So we need to appeal. We need to reach those people too, right? And that's the kind of thing we're working on with like Ferrum Academy, the press releases, all the different marketing initiatives that Tom's been coming up with. Because you guys are the core of the community, but we can't just be satisfied appealing to the most hardcore, savviest, like smartest, guys who research crypto all day. We gotta find a way to appeal to a wider audience. But the other thing too is, we have our long-term vision, but we never wanted to just focus on that thing that's 2 years away, but not add any value in the interim. So that's like, why did we start the pre-sale and incubation side of the business? Well, something that we knew we could succeed in. It's something we knew could add value to our users and community members, and allow us to generate revenue, which could then in turn give us time, essentially, and the funds to build a team to ultimately build the mainnet. Same thing with Crucible, right? Like we could have said, let's just focus 100% on the mainnet, but like, no, let's launch this Crucible product in the interim and try to derive as much value as we can from that, and have our community derive as much value as it can from that, as we continue this journey to build like the next Polkadot Kusama type thing, is what you're talking about, is that holy grail, that pinnacle achievement, which yes may still be a ways off, but there's all these things happening in the interim pre-sales to Token Bridge, which is now being upgraded or evolved into something we're calling Infinity Swap, which is a cross-chain DEX aggregator. So it's not just moving an asset and moving it across to a different chain. You can actually exchange asset for asset A for asset B on different chains, and that's coming out in I'm being told 60 or so days. So there's just constant development going on, and eventually our hard work will pay off. I have no doubt about that. That's why I have the utmost confidence, and I'm actually more confident now in Ferrum than any other time previous, because we never really had the team that we have now. Before, it was just myself, my co-founder. We had one or two other devs, and about three other people on the marketing team. There's maybe like 7 of us for, I would say, half of Ferrum's life or longer. It was only around this time last year that Nick joined, Taha joined, many other people who are sort of behind the scenes joined, and now we're at 55 or something people on the team, which is just crazy to think about. So we went from 7 to 55, and we're able to like roll out products so much faster, such higher quality product as well. It's just everything is so much more improved from where it was back when the token was at an all-time high. That's what's funny, right? Like, price does not always equal, rarely does actually, especially in crypto. Price and fundamentals don't always converge. It's kind of rare, right? So we're at this point now where the fundamentals are so much stronger, but you see the price where it's at. I think it's mostly market conditions, overall macro stuff going on with war and inflation and interest rates going up, and tech stocks are crashing, and so Bitcoin crashes and altcoins crash even more. It's all macro stuff. And then you talked about this cycle where we're at within the halvening cycle that probably plays into it as well. But for those who are patient and are willing to dive in and see the layers and join these podcasts and meet the team and all that great stuff, I mean, the opportunity is just incredible, I think. Not financial advice, but incredible. So I'm glad you popped on and you gave us that vote of confidence. That makes us feel good. It actually inspires us to work even harder.
That's what I was gonna say, man. It's like super, super validating, like to hear someone kind of articulate what's in our head and like why we think there's so much value in Ferrum. We're so up close and personal with it that like we see it, because we're working with it every day. But when you hear someone hop on camera and like it's like almost like they're just on the team and they've been involved in like everything that we're building and behind the scenes, and it's like, whoa, like this person really gets it. And I'm sure there's others here that have that same understanding of what Ferrum is, that holistic overview of like what is Ferrum really trying to achieve. And it's super, super validating to hear that kind of stuff. And it's like why I get out of bed every day to like hop on my computer and dive into Telegram and Discord and all this.
That makes me feel good to know that because you guys deserve. Hold on a second, my thought. Hold on, buddy, please. I'll be in 1 minute. Okay. I think that it's important because you guys are putting in like a tremendous amount of work, and like it's not on it. People see it. It's just market conditions right now. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what you do. Like when Bitcoin's going down, that's half the whole market share. That's going to drag it down. You know what I mean? So like it's just about when Bitcoin's going up, maybe you're pumping way harder. You know what I mean? But the whole you're moving together kind of with Bitcoin normally, right? It's just maybe Bitcoin goes down 2% and another coin might go down 10%, but that's because when Bitcoin went up 5, it pumped 80 or something. You know what I mean? Like, but it moved together the same. You know what I mean?
That's just it, right? That's how it goes. But no, we're not fazed by the market movements. Like I said, it sort of fuels our fire. I just hope that my concern is always like when the price is going down, I'm like, I hope that our hardcore, I don't say hard, but our most passionate community members don't start to lose faith only because the price is going down. That's what I worry about, because I'd hate to see. I mean, I've built relationships with a lot of these people, and I would hate to see them leave the community only because the market situation or what have you. And I understand that people need to make financial decisions for themselves. They need to determine their risk tolerance, stuff like that. But that's what keeps me up at night. Is like, I know the Ferrum long term's be okay. I just don't, you'd hate to see, losing folks who, are part of this community for a long time, for that reason. So that's what I always think about. But look, I think we're gonna be okay. Wag
Yeah,
me,
but
as they
I
say.
think I think if anyone has this coin, and this isn't financial advice, but for the record, I actually am a licensed financial advisor in my state. But for real, I'm not even joking. But like, uh,
So it's just financial advice.
It could actually be.
if you live in my state, maybe no, it's only my state. No, I'm just, but all it's really important to me. Like I like this to see that like when the market like the crashes happen, like you guys kept putting that work in and whatnot, because like it makes me feel safer, honestly. Even though like we're down and whatnot, I know that like you guys aren't giving up. You know what I mean? Like we could hit like 500,000 market cap. I know like that's not gonna happen, but I know that theoretically you're not gonna give up. The work would be the same. You know what I mean? And I could feel that. I
Yeah,
could sense
and
that. I
that's
could.
actually a really important point because I want just to be clear to folks because a lot of teams I think are much more reliant on the price of the token because they look to that as a source of income. Really, like they're looking to sell their own token at some point. Ferrum doesn't need to resort to that, and really has never resorted to that as outside of the initial ICO raise, because we've always managed to find a way to earn income outside of the token. So whether that was selling, the staking as a service product, the token bridge product, the pre-sales, the incubator, has just made, has done so well for us that we have a treasury now which can support us for many years. And we still make, we still profitable every month to the point where we are actually able to buy back Ferrum off the market every day, literally every dingle day. Not every day, because sometimes on the weekends, but nearly every weekday. And you can see it; it's on the blockchain. You can go to our buyback wallet and you can see on Ethereum and BSC all the buyback activities that we're doing. And in fact, they just ramped up over the past month because we're also looking at the price and thinking like, this is steal. Just knowing what's coming up, even if I have to wait for another year. What's a year really? A year is not a long time
I'm
in a
looking
human
at you.
lifetime when you're
I'm
talking about
literally.
these kind of financial opportunities. So we'll continue to buy back. We have the funds to survive. We have the funds to thrive. So I don't want people to get worried like, oh, price is going down, token going down, like they could give up or they could run out of funds. Not that situation at all. So we're very blessed in that sense. But no, we're not giving up. No, not even close.
Say to people that like millionaires and riches in general, or like big riches, are made in bear markets. They're created in bear markets, not in bull markets. Bull markets are chasing the green candle. You know what I mean? It's already up. It's already up like a lot, and then you got to think if something went up 2x, like now, like that doubles like as it's getting bigger. Like if I had a low entry point, you know what I mean? Like a 2x like turns that in. I jump in now, that 100x is only a 50x, just because you see how that like changes. You know what I mean?
You
And
got it. You got it, man. Yeah, bear markets are the time for maximum opportunity. It's hard, obviously, because your capital you usually have less capital in a bear market. So probably we get investment opportunities. We're like, oh, we want to invest in this, invest in that. Like, oh, like just you don't have the same amount of capital. And the other thing too is it takes a lot of conviction, and that's one thing that we're trying to solve for in doing a lot of these videos and stuff. Because without knowledge you won't have conviction. And so, like someone like yourself has done a lot of research. You have the knowledge. Can someone mute themselves? So you have a lot of knowledge. You have a lot of conviction, right? So it's easy for someone in your position. So we got to get it to the point where other people have the knowledge of what Ferrum's doing, what's coming up, so that they're confident. Like even if the price is what it is now, that they're confident that in a year from now. I think someone's unmuted. We can mute him.
I'm not seeing anybody that's unmuted here. I was looking.
Tentacles again.
Down,
I
down
think it was the same
bottom
person
right.
as before.
What was it?
Bottom,
Muted him, I think.
bottom right.
Tentacles.
I think I muted him.
Nice. Okay.
I have the power. Anyway, so those are awesome. Those are awesome points. And thank you for the vote of confidence there. I guess we have time for probably one more question from somebody else, and then I gotta run and get my son from daycare.
I'm
But we got time for one more.
I'm gonna cut my
Hey.
video off. Sorry, Bug. I'm gonna cut my video off. I want to say one. I really envision like a polygon like rise. It's like happens like because like it when something's been building like low for a long time, like on the chart, that's when it rockets hard the fastest. Like because like that like the yeah, it's just that's just the way it goes. But like it'll be like a month, like boom, like 50, 100, like this thing's gonna go 100x. Like if you think of it like
One can hope. One can hope. We'll get. Well, I think we'll get there.
down the
Whether it
line,
takes a
long
month or a
term,
year, I'm not sure. But
with a
utmost
long
confidence.
term vision. That's with a long term vision, you know.
That's it, man. That's it. Thanks for your comment. I think there's one more. There's somebody else who want to ask a question, and then we got to end it.
Someone unmuted themselves a second ago. Was it Sarcasmo?
Yeah, I was going to ask.
Hey guys.
Oh.
Hey,
Hey,
what's going on?
oh, we got two.
Hey,
We can take two. We can take two.
I
It's
know
okay.
you got the NFT. Hey, thanks for letting me join in again. I want to reiterate what Ozman said. Definitely 100%. And that's
Hey,
kind of a
you're cutting out a little bit. Maybe Sarcasmo.
with your
Is that just? That's not just me, is it?
No, he's very. Yeah, I think his connection is bad.
Okay. Hey, Sarcasmo, let's have Austin ask his question first, and then like maybe you can get to a better
any
location.
sort of alpha in terms of utility or any sort of, aside from the awesome artwork, which I hear is coming, but anything you can share about on that front?
Yeah, the NFTs. Yeah, for sure. So we are extremely blessed to have hired a new team member who is actually a GC member. He was a community member. He's an awesome guy. His name's Ryan, aka New Fractal. He is extremely knowledgeable when it comes to NFTs. So structuring, the sale, the utilities. He's an expert in that. We're obviously working with him. The core, longtime Ferrum team members are helping devise utilities. The artwork is awesome. He's hired an NFT artist who's done a lot of sort of well-known mints as far as I understand it, and he sent over concept art, a whole theme around it, and really the vision is to take these NFTs, use them to enhance all our work around mainnet and Crucible and community growth and marketing into kind of a cohesive story and theme, and then actually use each one of these NFTs and roll them out in a series, so they're sort of adding value. They're sort of building on one another. So it's not just a one-off like here's the NFT. It has a singular utility that basically is used up after you do that thing or what have you. It builds on itself. It grows on itself. So it's really a long-term vision and strategy here. We want to make sure the value is sustained. But yeah, we'll probably be releasing some sneak peeks and stuff about the artwork. I imagine in the coming weeks. The artist was off this week. I think it was a holiday for him or something. So we're ramping up things more next week. But the utilities are more or less dialed in. At least for the first batch. And the nice thing too about it is it's really the way that we approached it and want to approach it is this is a community initiative as much as anything else. And so to hear from you guys especially when we release the article describe the utilities, we want to hear from you. Like, do you like that? Don't you like any other ideas? Let's make this a Ferrum community thing more so than a top down thing, right? So that's it at a high level. We'll be releasing some images and more information probably in the coming weeks. Priority for the next like week probably still continues to be Crucible from a marketing standpoint, stuff like that. And then as the NFT stuff's being worked on behind the scenes, of course, but we'll eventually be releasing more information at a strategic time. So hope that answers your question. I'm super pumped about it.
I'd like to add one thing to
Great,
that.
thanks.
Ian talked a lot about like what this is all about. I want to talk about some of the things that we're trying to avoid with creating an NFT collection. As a community member, I would be, sometimes projects try to do NFTs as like a money grab or like, just doesn't really add a lot of value. We're trying to stay away from things that would dilute the value of FRM or FRMX, and B, stay away from things that are going to create logistical nightmares for the team in terms of like how we're going to create this NFT utility. So the things that we're trying to create, like Ian said, we're trying to create something that's very community oriented. We're trying to create something that has value from a utility standpoint. The NFT has utility itself, but it also adds utility to the token. It adds utility to what everyone's already here for, right? And the things that we're trying to stay away from are diluting the value of FRM and FRMX and making things too much of a logistical headache, too manual, things like that. So those were kind of like the objectives and the things that we're trying to stay away from when doing this. So keeping that balance and really the main focus being something that can help drive community engagement. Because with the Discord channel and just with like the way that certain projects are utilizing NFTs these days, we really saw an opportunity to have this community growth initiative around it first and foremost. But if we can add value to the token and the NFT and create utility with the NFT itself at the same time, that's ideal. And like you'll see like certain utilities be correlated with Crucible and certain utilities be correlated with potentially even like Infinity Swap and for sure like mainnet down the road. And this phased approach that we're taking is going to be super cool with it, and super psyched we have Ryan on board because he's a super knowledgeable guy about the whole thing. So that's just what I would add to that.
Thanks, Nick. I'm super excited. I know there's a sector of the Ferrum GC community especially super excited and can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Sorry about my connection earlier.
No, it's all good. We got
You're good. You're good. Yeah, look, we're working on other NFT projects through the incubator too, by the way. So there's going to be other investment opportunities, NFT investment opportunities that are, not the Ferrum NFTs per se, but others that we find to be promising from that standpoint. So we're in this market. We see what's happening, and we're now fortunate to have somebody like Ryan who can step in and actually really start advising these projects. Because I'll be honest, like I'm not confident enough to tell an NFT project what to do and when to do it and how to do it. I'm too steeped in the day-to-day of Ferrum and advising the existing projects that we have to have gotten a PhD in NFTs like Ryan has. So him on the team, that allows us to expand into that sort of ecosystem and acquire clients in that world. So we'll be doing some pre-sales and stuff like that of NFT projects, hopefully in the near future.
Yeah. Hey, I think we had one more question too from Austin. Austin, if you're there and you want to unmute yourself, we can take one more before we dip.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I just wanted to ask, when's the next conference you guys are going to? Crypto conference? Like, y'all happen to go to Consensus or anything?
Good question. We don't know exactly when. Probably we'll be going back to Miami at the end of the year for Decentral Part 2. I want to go back at least because it was a big success first time around. But we're also looking at other opportunities, talking to different event organizers and stuff. The challenge is, market conditions and just time. It's a big time suck to have the full team like away for a week and stuff like that. But we definitely want to go. And this is an important point. Some of the utilities around the NFT is actually related to these events. So we will be doing these events. We will be doing Ferrum meetups. I just don't know when or where. But yeah, it's definitely on the, it's in the cards for us, and we want to do it. Where and when is consensus? It's in
It's in
somewhere
Austin.
else now, right?
Yeah,
That's in Austin, and I think it's June 11th, I want to say.
yeah.
That could be a good one. I mean, so the other thing is, in my personal life, my wife is about to give birth to our daughter in about 5 days from now is the due date.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know how much traveling is in my cards for the near future, but definitely we want to make our presence known at these events, meet up with the Ferrum community members. I mean, the last one that we did, which I think was awesome, was at, like I said, at Decentral in Miami, and we flew out, or we actually put up. I think it was eight to 10 Ferrum community members, GC members, who we then met in real life and hung out with and got to know. I mean, it was an incredible experience. So we're going to take that forward, combine that with the NFTs, and obviously look for fun events. So if you guys have suggestions, we're open to it. For me personally, I probably can't go anywhere for the next couple months.
I'll give some alpha real quick, and I hope this doesn't well, hopefully we get accepted, right? We're really trying to be a part of the Polkadot ecosystem, building this parachain on Polkadot and Kusama. We've applied to Decoded, which they've got a bunch of different conferences around the world. I think Berlin, Mexico City, New York City, and we've applied to speak there about Infinity Layer mainnet being built on the Polkadot substrate framework, and just kind of like the implications of what that could have for the entire Polkadot ecosystem. And outside of the Polkadot ecosystem, Gavin Wood himself said the future is multi-chain. And really, that's kind of the bet that we're taking with Ferrum mainnet. And so I really think the narrative around the proposal that we sent is enticing enough for them to want us to come speak about what we're building over there. And I really hope that we get accepted to speak at Decoded. So that's kind of where our eggs are in terms of that's the basket that we're putting them right now in terms of the next conference that we'll be at. So fingers crossed. Maybe go show some love on Polkadot's pages and say oh, we hope to see Ferrum Decoded, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think they're in the process of voting right now, so we'll see.
Is there a way for us to vote, or could you maybe share a link or something like that? Or
It's not a community voting thing. It's more of the internal DAO. I kind of
okay.
use it, but.
Okay. But yeah, no. Even if we don't go to any of those events, we're looking at other events for sure. Like I said, end of the year, Miami is quite likely, I would say, and then there's other ones that we're looking at as well. So keep us posted. If anybody sees events that they're interested, this, and this ties directly in the NFTs too, right? So a lot of opportunity there to combine, the community side, the NFT, these meetups. I'm glad you asked that question.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're a little over time, but this was super fun as always. I want to thank everyone who joined. I thank Nick, Tom, all the community members. We'll be doing this next week at a little bit of an earlier time, just to accommodate some folks' time zones. So 4 p.m. UTC, we'll announce that next week, the new time. We will be sending the 1,000 Crucible Ferrum to whoever we deem to be the winner. So keep an eye out for that. We'll probably be reaching out to we'll PM somebody. But yeah, thanks so much, folks. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend. And for those who are in the Crucible Alpha, stay tuned, because I'm pretty sure instructions are going to be coming soon on how to join Alpha 3 in the next couple hours. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.